So I've been a serial entrepreneur, decided to invest in filming case studies of organic and biodynamic family farms and sharing their stories through a very popular television cooking series. I started to see the climate data from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. At NASA, the mathematical equation that actually predicts civilization collapse based on this climate change data. The UNCTAD report from 2013, and also in 2013, a telling research study from the Rockefeller Foundation, which highlighted the fact that up until 1950, 75% of the Earth's population lived in self-sustaining small communities. Our doomsday clock is definitely the environment, and it's 3 minutes to midnight. And that's when I discovered the Solar Decathlon. It's an annual 20-university competition that brings these universities together to compete on who can build the most energy-positive homes. So they have 18 months in a design cycle, but only 2 weeks to build on a designated location around the world. I saw 20 very beautiful energy-positive homes get built, load balancing their power, electric vehicles buzzing around. It was like a clean, green version. If we marry these energy-positive homes with high-yield organic food production, with clean water, clean energy, waste-to-resource management, that we could redefine neighborhood development for the next 2 to 3 billion people. We also have planned curriculum, maker movement, innovation labs.
What we're doing here is the first day of the Lammas Low Impact Building course. The purpose of this is to empower people who may feel that they really want to live a low impact lifestyle but have never really considered themselves able to build their own house.
The EDE is a course which has been offered in many communities around the planet.
Eco-village design education to me personally was an opportunity to intensely explore my place in Orville.
For me at least, a very intellectual curiosity about what it meant to go through a 5-week process.
It's more like a community building. For me that's what EDE is about. It's like how to build a community.
It's an intensive experience of looking at sustainability on a dimensional level. Perspectives of ecological, social, economic, and cultural worldview sustainability.
But you come to a physical place and history.
Actually, we had so many different teachers for all of these topics. And history to learn eco-village design, a laboratory that aids the learning of all of these concepts. And we had so many wonderful teachers coming.
Just being able to look at where we are through different lenses of economy or ecology or worldview and appreciate the wealth of knowledge and experience that exists.
So it was very important for us to have a very diverse pool of participants to enable international participants to come in a course that would inform their lives about the place they live and what they can potentially bring. So we aimed at having a third of the participants from Oroville or its nearby region, and to have a third from Asia, so that we may have connected them to the wider Asian network, and as well a third from all around the world.
EDE and similar courses have been held several times before, often inviting student groups from outside.
So a lot of young people who came together with the intention to learn and look at their own community and the region in a new light. So the educational experience where they could say, you know, they grew up here, but they need to look at it again and see where they live.
And by creating such a diverse pool of participants, the participants themselves were informing each other about eco-village practices, because we had at least 5 participants already living in other eco-villages. The diversity that we speak in community about embracing diversity was present in the group as a real exercise.
And also a huge age range from 62 or 63 to 17. Also at many times challenging. We had such a range of experience and education and background and also cultural background.
That means that to cater to the needs of both groups involves, in some ways, reducing the complexity of what could be done. And I think part of this course is there is a beautiful experiment where you put 36 people together for 5 weeks. So.
We did Social Week first to get people into a group and see what it is to live together. We visited so many places and we met a lot of different people offering the ideas of the course, of the overall framework.
What are the learnings from the way traditional Indian society in terms of rural communities and how it is organized? How these learnings could become some building blocks for newer forms of institutions being created.
Our work on this in this particular class was to explore gender and the challenges that women go through in developing their leadership identities.
So in Ecology Week, we looked at how communities engage with the environment around them, what responsibilities humans should take to relate with nature in a healthy and sustainable way.
Nature is already perfect. There's nothing we can do to improve upon nature. Like you can do 5, 10 PhDs, but you'll never know how to make this tree. I'm looking for real solutions of how to get people involved in their local food. A society that doesn't know where its food comes from is a society without culture, and humanity without culture is going to perish.
My primary motivation was to learn more about permaculture.
And when we look at ecological, all of these are very important. So we look at food, water, and energy autonomy, how these are happening in the community, what are past systems that have functioned.
We went to see farms to understand food as well as natural cycles. We went to see places where they work with natural building, bamboo and earth construction, different styles so that people may see the positives of going academic and well-structured, but at the same time going experimental in other situations and trying out new things. Everything around the week was how to use natural resources in a way that helps the planet, helps the people and society as a whole.
The economic week, where we looked at the current system and looked at what are the other models that we need to look at and shift over to, and how other possible systems being created in the world that can actually be functional, sustainable models.
Could bring in the ED on the economical aspect is that almost all the different types of economy we know now in the world are represented here. So it was an amazing kind of exhibition hall for the students to go from a real classical economy, and which is also tuned with the global economy that as we know it now, and to go towards more local and alternative.
If you don't have economic sustainability, how do you function and continue to function as a community? And then we moved into the worldview and the cultural dimension, where we looked at what are the background thoughts and ideas and perceptions of the way we live in the world that allow us to create the system that we're in now, and what is the change that needs to happen to allow us to shift. That was also looking at holistic worldview, human health, and also the connection with nature and reconnecting with the natural world, and how these are all interlinked. Also, a worldview that is sustainable needs to be created, and all of these are intrinsic and necessary.
How to help people to have 3 important connections in their life. One is connecting with themselves, connecting with others, and connecting with the nature.
Helping the group to understand how to transition out of an emergency and how to build inner resilience to avoid a loss of energy during an emergency situation.
So finally, our last week was based in pulling all this together and designing a system that we could practice with. And so the participants broke into smaller groups.
And we chose to use the dragon dreaming method, which brings in dreaming, planning, doing, and celebrating. And so we brought the group through this process, introducing them to 25% of celebrating, which is often missed in project design.
What are the essential things that need to be done before doing a project? So dreaming a project successfully, where so that when you do it, it won't fail.
I wanted to hear so many people's stories.
Personally interested in the eco-village movement, and I'm interested in implementing what I learn here at the course at my eco-village.
This is the human adventure that is the very precious aspect of this EDA for me. I have the feeling that now, knowing all those people, there's a lot that can go on after the EDA, especially with the community project that we have together.
Helping Hands wants your help to install solar panels in the ecological village of Rindakunja to make a big difference for the future of this community.
Buckminster Fuller once said that you don't change the existing reality through fighting. To change something, build a new model that makes the old model obsolete.